everyone. I'm Thúy. I'm in charge for Vietnam and some Southeast Asia country. So if after the webinar you have any question, please reach out to me, Olin. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for spending your time to join the event this morning, kind of early. And yeah, we're based in Ho Chi Minh City, so you can reach out to us anytime. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, now I'm really ready to hand it over to you, Nate, if you want to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Darby, and thanks to the Wellspring team. My name is Nathan Duggins. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I'm the International Recruitment Manager at Colorado State University. So I kind of oversee all of our international recruitment strategy. I'm going to go through a PowerPoint real quick. I don't intend to take a ton of your time this morning. I know y'all are busy and probably have a lot to do, but wanted to give you kind of a basic overview of our institution, kind of maybe some selling points and why students might look at us for education, and how you can kind of market us to your students. So we'll get started, and then if you have time at the end, or if you have any questions at the end, we'll leave time for that. So hopping in right away, just kind of very quickly geographically where we're located. Obviously, that's a map of the states. Colorado is highlighted right there. We are in a town called Fort Collins, Colorado, which is 175,000 people. So I guess in United States terms, that's kind of maybe a mid-sized city. The university itself is 30,000 total students. So we have 30,000 students in a 175,000 person town. It doesn't take much math to understand that a large portion of our community is made up of the university. So we're very student focused. There's 6,000 employees at the institution. So Colorado State University is a big part of the community. So student support is a really big deal. We are located 1 hour from our capital city of Denver, 1 hour from the Denver International Airport. We constantly run shuttles back and forth to get students to and from the airport. This is the airport where your students would fly into. And so we constantly are running transportation to and from the airport. So students don't really have to worry about how to get to and from campus. In terms of culture, it's kind of hard to explain culture, but we are a very, I would say, outdoors kind of mountainous culture. We sit right at the base of the Rocky Mountains, which is the largest mountain range in the United States. So it's very aesthetically beautiful. People like to be outside. They like to be active. It attracts people from all over the country. So there's a lot of people that live in Colorado that are not from Colorado. They just move here because they want to be closer to the mountains. It's very safe. It's very easy to get around. There's a bus system that students can use for free. It's incredibly bicycle friendly. So if you want to bike to and from your classes or get around the city that way, it's very easy to do that. So when a huge percentage of your population is made up of either students or people that work for the university, everything is kind of catered to that. And so students are very well supported. It's a small town, very safe, very easy to get around. And so, yeah, I think students mostly feel welcome because there's so many other students in the town itself. A little bit more specifically, we are a Division I athletic institution. I don't know how much people care about that, but we are Division I sports. Students can go to those athletic events for free. We have over 500 clubs and organizations, so a ton of opportunity to get involved. We have 15 different residence halls on our campus, so we have housing for first-time incoming students. We have housing for transfer students, housing for graduate students, housing for families. So every type of student that you can imagine, from the one who's just starting to the PhD student that is bringing their family with them, we have housing all across the board for all of those students, and they're all on campus, and so easily walkable to classes. We are a larger university, 30,000 students, that's a lot of students. So we have about 250 different areas of study. We're pretty comprehensive in what we can offer academically. We don't really struggle to find academic programs for students. We're pretty confident that we can offer something that students want to study. In terms of kind of the differences or the different options, we have a lot of different research opportunities. So you can kind of see in the bottom middle there, we're an R1 research university, which is the highest level research category you can be granted in the United States. So if somebody wants to come in and do very intensive research, we have that. But we also have kind of the opposite of that too. So we have programs, we know graduate students, sometimes they want to come in, they want to take classes, they want to just get their degree and they want to leave and they don't want to do any research, and that's fine. We have that. So if you have students that just want to do that, what we call kind of professional master's programs where there's no research component, we have that. If you have students that want to do really intensive hands-on research, we have that. We offer hybrid programs where if a student wants to do maybe their first semester or their first year online and then come and finish their degree on campus, we have that. So we have a lot of different options for students. We don't just have kind of one track that everybody has to pick. They can kind of, with a lot of our programs, can kind of customize to fit sort of their needs, both academically and personally. Really quickly, our most popular majors. I get this question asked no matter what country in the world I go to. We have over 250. So I don't want to say this is like what we're the best at because we're really good at a lot of things, but this is what our international students, they tend to study. So biomed, business, computer science, engineering. Exploratory is kind of a unique thing. It's mainly for the undergraduate students where they can come in and if they don't know what they want to study right away, they can explore, right? They can try and take classes in a bunch of different areas and then decide what they want to do after that. But this list right here really hasn't changed since I've been at Colorado State. Biomedical sciences has become a little bit more popular, but these have pretty much stayed the same with our international population. But keep in mind, we have over 250 areas of study. Where are they coming from? So we have a little over 2,000 international students at our university. They're coming from these are our top 5 most popular countries, but we have over 100 countries represented on our campus. So the Middle East, Saudi and Kuwait, India, Vietnam is really, really highly represented on our campus. We're a little bit more popular in the north, in the Hanoi and in Hanoi than we are in the south, but a pretty good Vietnamese population on our campus. And then Uzbekistan is actually really, really popular for us. So we're pretty diverse, both domestically and internationally. Domestically, we have students from all 50 states in the US and over 100 countries. So we're pretty diverse, both within the US and internationally. So talking about kind of the application a little bit. So for undergraduates specifically, if you're looking at first-time freshman students, we are common application exclusive. So you can only apply with the common application. We do apply a fee waiver. If you fill out that section, mostly we grant it. We're not gonna fight you too hard on the fee waiver. But really all we ask for is the application, the personal statement or the essay, which is a part of the common application. You have to do that anyway. Your transcripts and then proof of English proficiency. So we don't ask for an ACT or an SAT. I get the question asked all the time, well, but it helps, right? I mean, we don't look at it. We've never looked at it. Colorado State has never required SAT, excuse me, SAT or ACT for international students. we don't consider it as part of the application. So really, we just ask for the application, essay, transcripts, proof of English proficiency. You can see right there our TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo requirements. That's what we asked for. We are rolling admissions. We are still accepting applications for fall. We'll be accepting them well into June, probably July. We can still offer scholarships. So if you have students that want to come for fall, we're still open and we're still giving scholarships. So keep that in mind, and we're happy to receive your students. If we move on to price and scholarships, that is what we cost. That is what Colorado State costs. So tuition expenses in total, our scholarships range from $2,000 to $12,000 per year. Students are automatically considered for scholarships. So if you are admitted, there's no separate scholarship application. You will automatically be looked at for our scholarship. So tell your students that. You don't have to do anything else other than apply like you normally would, and you'll automatically be considered for scholarships. Last year, the average scholarship was around $9,000, just to kind of give you an idea. Obviously, students can get more, but that was the average that we offered. Moving on to graduate. Graduate's a little bit harder to talk about because everything is very dependent on the department. So whatever program you're applying to, they're going to kind of have their own unique set of rules. So I really encourage you or your students, if they're applying to a graduate program at Colorado State, to do their homework and see what is required. What you're seeing on this slide is this is true of every single graduate program at our institution. So there's the application, the fee. You can see our minimum English proficiency requirements. What you don't see is Duolingo. The graduate programs just started accepting our Duolingo exam, or I'm sorry, the Duolingo exam, and it is a score of 120 or higher. So you can tell your students, yeah, we accept Duolingo at all levels, undergraduate or graduate. Afterwards, if you have question about graduate programs, I can kind of provide you with a little bit more in-depth resources, I guess, to help you out, kind of specific program requirements, GRE, no GRE, stuff like that. What are the deadlines? Because it does kind of change depending on the program. In terms of costs, here's what our graduate programs cost. Most programs offer some graduate teaching assistantships, which cover full tuition, which obviously is very good, but those are few. They offer maybe 3 to 5 of those every single year. There is some additional funding that goes through the department, but again, it's really up to the student or you to reach out to the department and figure out, hey, what are your scholarships? What are your scholarship deadlines? I'm happy to help facilitate those conversations and get in touch with the appropriate person at that department. But it really does depend on the specific academic program. And then a little bit about outcomes. I mean, you can see average starting salaries here based on graduate or undergraduates, and then we kind of get into specific programs that are more popular with our international students. We also work really hard for students who want to do OPT or CPT. So for those that aren't familiar, OPT is a program for international students to stay and work in the United States after they graduate while staying on their student visa. They don't have to switch to a work visa, which can be pretty complex. And we have over 600 employers throughout the state that have hired Colorado State University international students on OPT. We work really, really hard on this because we know it's what students want. Understandably, not every student's going to want this, but we really, really understand the importance of these students getting professional work experience to help their resumes, And a lot of times those OPT experiences will lead to full-time job offers. So that's something that we really work hard on. We contact them, we let them know sort of the paperwork they have to fill out for OPT. So we contact our international students about a year before they're planning on graduating and say, hey, do you want to do OPT? Are you interested? Let's start that process now. And then we help them contact employers that we know are interested in giving our international students OPT opportunities. So we think about it, obviously we want to provide you with a good education and a good experience on campus. We also can help you facilitate opportunities outside or I'm sorry, after graduation. So we try to make it a full spectrum service. So we know that you all looking for jobs, and we want a lot of our international students to have opportunities after they graduate. So I know I went through that very quickly, but that is my last slide, I believe. Yes, it is. So happy to answer any questions. I know a lot of you will have specific questions, so I can stop sharing, and I think we can get to the Q&A. Darby, I think you're muted.
I was. Thank you. That was just going on and on. Any agents here today, feel free, this is what I was saying, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question if you'd like to ask it directly, or you can always type it into the Q&A feature. I know a few of you have done that already. So I'll start out with our first question that we've got written in about how to get the scholarship. Like, what is the application process there?
Yeah, so for undergraduates, there is no process. It's you apply, you get admitted, you're automatically considered for scholarships. At the postgraduate level, it depends on the program. A lot of the programs are going to tell you right up front, hey, this is how you apply for our scholarships. These are the deadlines. This is what you need to do. And so that's going to vary from program to program, but you will be notified. Your post-grad students will know from the second they start the application how to apply for the scholarship and how, what makes a competitive application.
Awesome. What other questions do we have today, tonight, wherever you are in the world?
I'll just say one thing really quick, just because I've been doing this for over a decade, and so you see different trends, right, throughout the world, and like what becomes popular and what, it's a very cyclical world that we live in, right? So, I mean, one thing, and I don't know for your regions if this is popular or not, but one thing that we've really seen is just the huge growth and popularity of hybrid master's programs. And as kind of the cost of US higher education rises, students, staying in their home country and working and studying online for like a semester or a year, and then coming to the United States to finish their degree, right? That's something that we have seen really, really grow in popularity. And the reason that the reason I like that model, and you can do whatever you want, is I can walk into any country in the world and talk to somebody interested in a postgraduate program and say, listen, you have three options. You can do it all online. You can do part of it online and then finish in the United States and still be eligible for OPT if that's what you're interested in. Or number three, you can do it all at Colorado State. So, as somebody in my position, I like being able to walk into any region and say, listen, I got three options for you. You pick the one that's best for you. And so I think that that's something that I really, really, really kind of relay to our partner network, like you all, and say, hey, if you're working with students, Colorado State can give you multiple options. There's not just one thing that they can do. And so I think that that's something that I really, really stress when I'm speaking with students or our agent network.
So,
I don't know.
if students do online, the tuition fee, is it the same or different with the on-campus tuition?
Yeah, great question. It is much cheaper to do it online. And so that's why these programs have grown in such popularity, right? Because these students can stay in their home country, work, right? A lot of them have jobs, and so they can stay and work for a semester or a year, and then they can come for a year. So they're not paying for 2 years of, Colorado State tuition. They're just paying really one. I was looking at a program today. A lot of the online master's programs are somewhere between maybe 20 to 30% cheaper tuition than they are on campus. Some are more, some are up to half, 50% cheaper. So, but just know that the online masters or the online tuition is much, much cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of the master program is offered online or just some of them?
So not all of them, and that's a great question, and one that I was anticipating somebody asking. So let me drop let's see. Oh, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat that is a link to all of our online undergraduate and graduate programs. And we also have a lot of certificate programs as well. I don't know how popular those are with your students, but if somebody just wants a certificate to, like, I don't know, maybe that makes them more appealing for a promotion or something like that. We also have those online as well. So I just dropped that in the chat, and you can see. And if there's a program on there that either undergraduate or postgraduate, if it's listed, they can do it either fully online or partially online, and then finish at campus. All of the programs are set up to be done in a combination if a student wants to choose that route.
Very helpful, thank you. We also have a question here about ESL programs.
We do have ESL. So for students that want to earn a degree from us but don't have the English language, we have a program for that. We also do, and again, I don't know how market demand this is, but we do a lot of, or we can do a lot of, like, customized short-term programs. So meaning if you, like, for example, we have a bunch of, or 10 businessmen from Japan coming next month. They want to come, they want to study for 2 weeks, they want to take some, like, business seminars and study English. Great, we can do that. So if you have maybe groups of students or working professionals that might be interested in taking English courses with also a certain, like, academic or professional focus, we can customize those programs. So that's something else that we can do as well. But yes, if a student needs to study English before advancing into their academic program, we have that as well. It's a good question.
So
Let's,
do you have
do-
the minimum English score to get into the ESL? Or
None.
just
No.
okay.
No. So there's no minimum to get into the ESL. All students, when they get to campus, will take a placement exam to see which level they place into, because there's three levels of our ESL, and so we just need to know where to start them out.
So they will get the I-20 of the ESL plus the conditional offer for
Correct.
the program.
So the I-20 will be an ESL I-20. The letter that they get from, say, our office will say, hey, you've been conditionally admitted. Here is your intended area of study once you get through your English program.
Okay. So what is the tuition fee and any application fee for that?
The application fee for the ESL is, I think it's free, honestly. I don't think we charge that. I would have to look up the ESL fee because that program is not run by our office. It's a separate office. Darby, I'll get that to you after this. I don't know. Is my answer off the top of my head. I can get that to you.
That's not a problem. We can distribute it to everyone here tonight after the fact.
Okay, perfect. Anything else I can answer for the good of the group?
Nathan, I got a little bit into the application process. Like we have a student applying for Master of Computer Science, but do you know how long when they get the like acceptance letter or something like that?
It's a great question. You picked the one program at Colorado State that like takes the longest. Well, so from our master's programs, computer science is our most popular by far. We've been working with computer science for months saying, hey, you have to hurry up, you have to hurry up, you have to hurry up. And they're saying, hey, we're not going slow on purpose. We just have a ton of applications. I was told that they're trying to get everything out, every single answer out by April 15th.
Okay.
Will that happen? I don't know. I hope it does. But next year, so if we start looking at probably more realistically fall 2025, we have asked them, hey, can you make your application rolling? So most programs at CSU, right, they're releasing decisions throughout the year. Computer science doesn't. They wait and then they release all at once. And we're trying to convince them, hey, don't do that. Please don't do that, because I think we're losing students because of that. If one of your students gets an admission letter in November and then they don't get ours until April, they're probably not choosing us to be, right? I mean, why would they? Unless they really wanted Colorado State. And so we're trying to change that, but to answer your question for fall 2024, I'm hoping in the next
Week.
5 to 8 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see that the acceptance rate is really high for the Master of Computer Science? Do they accept all the students, or they just pick like 10 or 12?
No, they pick a cohort. I want to say it's maybe between 30 and 35 every year, which is kind of a lot. The challenge is there's just so many applications, right? I mean, and to be frank, like just to be honest with you, right? I mean, it's most of our Asian students, so that's Southeast and East Asia, right? India, I mean, you're competing with the Indians, right? Of which there are many. And we're not even talking about US students that are applying there. So yeah, I mean, I don't lie to students. It's a fairly competitive program. One thing we are proposing, and we are going to send this to our president next week, is to get funding for 2 more faculty members for computer science. So we can open up more classes. So it's not competitive in the sense that like we want to admit more students, but we just don't have enough professors right now. Right. So that's why we're trying to We're trying to hire or get funding for more professors. And once that happens, if we get two, my guess is we'll get one. But if let's say that we win the lottery and we get two, we could admit, I would say 40 to 50 more students every single year, which is huge, right? It's huge. Then I can come back to people like you and say, yes, have them apply. Please have them apply, because the acceptance rate has gone way up.
Okay, one last question.
Oh, please.
So if the student they just like you say, the acceptance rate is not really high, so they're applying for two program at the same time, computer engineering and computer science.
Yeah.
And if they accept the computer engineering first because they got the offer first, then is it easy for them to change into computer science major later when they are in the US?
Do you mean at the postgraduate level?
Yes.
Yeah, it's easy-ish because those programs are so related. A lot of the foundational courses that those students will take can really be applied to both areas. I don't, with that said, I never promise a student like, hey, if you come in here to computer engineering and want to switch to computer science, you can automatically do that. With that said, if a student comes into computer science or computer engineering, does well in their courses, it's pretty easy to change. It's not a matter of like, is it hard to like systematically change your major? The concern is sometimes it's like, well, you didn't do well in your computer science courses, so we're not sure we want to let you into our computer engineering program, right? So really, if the student comes in and performs well, it's not that hard. If they come in and perform poorly, the other program might say, well, you haven't really given us any indication that you would do well in our program because you haven't done well in your current program. So that's kind of how the departments look at it. It's a good question.
Okay.
Really good question.
Yeah, because we got the student like having that case, and he has been waiting for computer science for too long. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Listen, I get it. There are students emailing us from all over the world saying, "Hey, when am I going to get my answer from computer science?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying hard over here.
Awesome. Any other questions? Great. Well, if we have no other questions tonight, then or this morning for most of you, we will go ahead and get wrapped up. If you have any questions following the presentation, please do not hesitate to reach out to your Wellspring representative, Thuy, Lynn. We have our team in China, Shin, Vivian, and Patrick. We've got Nindya in Indonesia, and Harry in Korea and Taiwan. So if any of those are your regions, we've got people there who are always accessible and able to answer any questions you may have. A huge thank you to Nate for being here. This is our third webinar of the day, so it is no easy feat to present this many times in a row. So we really appreciate you being here and taking time out of your evening to present to our agents.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Darby. Thank you to the Wellspring team. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you,
Thank
Nathan.
you. Thank
Alright.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.